Hello Shantanu Datta, welcome to Kolkata Literature Festival. তোমাকে এখানে পেয়ে আমরা খুব খুশি।
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Love to be here.
So আজকের এই আড্ডাটা, let's start with a little story. You have interviewed a lot of musical greats all your life. Tell us about that first big experience, which and how you felt, like the first interview you ever did, and how you felt.
Well, that's so far back that I don't remember which would be my first, but I'll tell you this story of Jethro Tull, the band which came to play in India for the first time in 1994. And I was a trainee, or we had just sort of graduated to becoming a full-fledged sub-editor at the Telegraph where I was working then. And they were playing in Bombay, and we were too junior in the Telegraph to be sent out on assignment as such. But I sort of insisted, got myself leave, and I went there on my own, and sort of somehow managed to go somewhere near the band and accosted almost Ian Anderson and sat with him and Martin Barry, the guitarist, and had a long chat. They were so surprised that there was this kid from India who knew so much about their music that they spoke to me. So that was very. It's a memorable event in my life.
So why Amyt Datta? Why he has just started a fairly new band now, and they are just 10 to 12 concerts old. So, and how did you come about into your journey and then writing Amyt Datta into your book?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Omidda's music is something that I have been listening to ever since we were in college. I was in college, and in those days he was with Pink Noise, Shiva, and he would be playing covers. And then slowly Amita graduated into playing his own music. He started composing music, and that's when I began to listen to him far more intently, and I realized that his playing had sort of grown suddenly in a span of say 9 years. At that time I wasn't in Calcutta, I had gone on work. I was away from Calcutta. I was living in Bombay and Bangalore, and when I came back and I heard his music, and I thought, this is no different from the music that I hear on records of jazz greats. And I said, and then I started listening to his music very intently, and and um, and I said, I have to talk to him because this is not the Amita that I had known before. He was playing rock, very competent and very good, but this is a huge stride. This is a giant step. So that's how I began talking to him, and that's how he figures in the book as one of the greats, I feel. We are very lucky actually to have a person like him in our city.
So, other than Amyt Datta, now that we know his story and how he came about in your book, what was the process of choosing the different bands and the musical grades that you have written about and calling Elvis? How did you come about compiling it, putting it all together? Because you have lived and breathed in music. You have written about music all your life, and putting it all in a book, putting it all in words and in pages. It must be like putting together a whole lot of years together.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, the reason what got me to thinking about such a project was a concert that happened in the States sometime in 2016 and 17, at the end of 2016 and early 2017, where all the greats like Roger Waters and Paul McCartney and Rolling Stones were playing on two successive weekends. And they played songs which we had grown up to listening to. And there was a song they played which I had heard Dilip Balakrishnan, one of our first and foremost original composers of rock music in India. He happened to be from Calcutta. And said that this is four decades after I first heard Dilip and doing the same song, the Beatles song. And that sort of asking myself the question, what is it in this music that keeps it going? What is it? Why do we come back to it over and over again? What is the relevance? There must be some connect. And that was the first spark. And then when I went back to my interviews, which were by then done over the last 30, 40 years, I found a lot of resonance and clues to why their music is so deeply embedded in our systems. So that's when I thought I'll put it all together in a book. And the choice, I must say, has happened organically because I just sort of went and met people who came and played here. I was lucky. I was in Bombay and I heard Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter were in Bombay. I was very lucky. So I went up to them and, managed to talk to them. I was in Bangalore and there was Deep Purple. So again, so I was in Bombay, then Mark Knopfler came, and I was just lucky that they were there, and I sort of somehow managed to go and meet them and talk to them. So that's how it happened. So in a way, it's luck, and also the fact that my choices and these guys came to India. It just happened. So that's how it happened.
Being a journalist means being exposed to a whole lot of information out in the world. Like, there's a trove there, and there is music all around you. And people say that your taste in music changes over the years. How has that changed for you? How has that affected your career? How has it gone?
Well, it's an evolving process. Yes, you start off, as I said, when I started listening to music, it was Robindra Shangit at home, and then came film songs, and then when I went to school and I went to college, I got introduced to different various bands, and actually in college, a few of my friends became members of what was called the AUC Jazz Club, American University Center Jazz Club, where there would be listening sessions of great jazz records and masters were played, and there were people who would tell us about them. So that's how I got into jazz, and I really started liking it. So that's how my tastes evolve. And as you go to school, and then you meet people, and there are various people listening to various kinds of music. And I guess I've been, if you like something, you just want to dig deeper into it, right? So that's what happened. And so these days I listen to a lot of jazz, and I listen to a lot of contemporary, all kinds of music. And I'm always curious about new sounds and new music that's coming out.
Thank you so much for having us, Shantunada. It was lovely talking to you. I hope you are always entwined with music. Thank you so much.